What up, what up, what up, what up, y'all? This is Brother Hatim coming at you live and direct. If you are on Facebook, I want to welcome you. If you are on my Spreaker channel, I want to welcome you. We got a long time guest who've been gone for a while, and it's that time of year when, if you're in education, where everything is going crazy. Right after Christmas and right between spring break, we got all this testing. So y'all need to understand that they're getting your kids prepared, you know what I'm saying, for test. And it doesn't matter that they can't, it doesn't matter if the child has life issues. We got to go and still get them ready for this test. But hey, before we get all into that, because you know I'm about to go off. Here we go. You are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. I am your host, Brother Hatim, and I am coming at you live and direct. And tonight we are doing tribal quotes, and this is a Heart of a Simple production. Sasha, you don't have to start talking when I talk.
Okay.
Last but not least, the goal is to blow up your old paradigm. Let it stop rumbling a little bit. I want to send out shouts to my big sister, Miss Janice, you know what I'm saying, for joining us live tonight. We're going to have some more people probably popping up because Tribal Quotes has become the most popular show I got. Now, we're going to be coming from the book of African Openings to the Tree of Life, right? And we're going to read it, but of course, you know, I got to go into my little rant. You know, today is the day of Ujima. It's collective work and responsibility. It has the Modic principle of righteousness. It has the M7 principle of respect. It has the Hermetic law of vibration, right? So it's no longer what y'all used to call it. Right now, we are in Ujima. I have conquered the weak. I have done it just like my West Asian counterparts. I seen it. I conquered. And now I have decided to change the name, right? So we own that. Now, today, for the last week, I have been vegging out on Neil Gaiman. For those that don't know who Neil Gaiman is, well, first let me preface it. Y'all know I'm into stories. Y'all know I'm into folk tales. This week I've been vegging out on books by Neil Gaiman, right? And I also, of course, been supplementing that with some Amos Wilson on YouTube. Those of you that are really serious about liberation, about changing things, make sure that you listen to some Amos Wilson on YouTube. They got all his lectures on YouTube. Amos Wilson is one of the dopest, right? So all this is brewing around in Brother Hatim's mind. And I wake up this morning, and the first thing I'm greeted by is I set up my YouTube playlist, and we don't really watch TV around here. We got a lot of YouTube going on. We done cut the cord. Shouts out to Miss Veronica Baynu. Good to see you as well. Shouts out to Aisha Asics. Good to see you also. Now, so I got all these folk tales and the different ways to tell the stories popping up in my head, because those that don't know who Neil Gaiman is, he has a new series coming out called American Gods, right? Now, he took old mythology and he put a new twist on it, right? Then I'm listening to Amos Wilson and some of the ideas that he's dropping, and it's blowing my mind, right? And then I get up and I find this HBO special by J. Cole called For Your Eyes Only. For Your Eyes Only. And I'm listening to this young brother and his lyricism, and I am brought to tears because he got a song called For Your Eyes Only, I think. And y'all, let me tell you what's going on in my mind. All right, y'all ready? All right, so first, Neil Gaiman took folk tales. The first book I listened to this is the second time I'm going through the book. It's called American Gods. They made a whole TV series off of it. It's airing on Stars probably this week, right? And it's all about the old gods going to war with new gods. So he took mythology and he did what I said we need to be doing. We need to be taking the mythology and updating it. And this is what he did. But the first book of his that I just got done listening to today, I finished it last night, was called Anansi's Boys. So the first tale that got me into him was an African-based folklore or mythology about Anansi the spider, right? Cold-blooded. And some of the concepts that came out of there, we, of course, I'm going to mix it in as we do our thing here on Gye-Nyame Journey, right? So I'm getting this old mythology, and I'm seeing the importance of mythology, and I'm getting the ideas in my mind about the power of story. And then I hear this young brother, J. Cole, who's dropping lyrics and telling a story, right? He's not mumbling. He's telling a story. And I'm getting so hyped, right? Because I'm saying, damn, we got all these talented artists. But the question is, are we supporting them? I just got done talking about that on YouTube yesterday, right? I just got done talking about it on the show last night. We got all these artists out here, and we have to ask the question, are we supporting them? Are we doing what we can to support them, right? Are we changing ourselves? Are we telling our stories, right? Are we making sure that our children know about their personal ancestors and know about their heritage and know about the magic that flows through their veins? Are we doing that? Right? And I got to constantly focus on this because I got to tell my kids about their people, right? And I gotta make sure that y'all telling y'all kids about your people. And we Africans in America, look at it. Those of you that have not accepted the fact that we are being pushed down into a permanent underclass, if we are not already there, because we are not really in a position to be able to pass down generational wealth, right? All of us have been trained in a sense to go get jobs and not start developing and start building our own, right? We're the only people that's doing this. Everywhere I look, everybody's doing this. We're not doing it. And we got to start doing it. And this comes from us helping our children understand who and where they are. But you can't help them understand who and where they are unless you are able to tell them about what they come from. And I ain't just talking about the regular speech that we give the kids when we go see them. You descended from kings and queens. I'm going to challenge y'all to just go and get that up out your vocabulary, because there's no way we all descended from kings and queens. Because once again, I ask the question, if we all descended from kings and queens, who was taking out the trash? Who was building the buildings? Who was fighting the wars? We come from a legacy of individuals that did and were able to do everything because they had a culture. And family, one of my brothers told me a long time ago, culture cures, and I'm sticking with that. Culture cures. And because we have been unplugged from our culture, and because we have been scared to update our culture, update the software of our culture, we are stuck. So I ain't gonna hog it, because I got a doctor on the line with me. Sister Janice, you got something you want to share with us before I, because you know I got to do my little ramble before we get started.
I'm good. You doing?
All right, so let's get to Amos Wilson, right? Now, those of you that know, I'm doing this thing called the 21-day Nguzo Saba Challenge, and I'm saying that in 21 days, you will start a process. You can start a process to change your life, right? All I'm doing is making suggestions, right? Boom, set up a ritual on a daily basis. Set up routines on a daily basis. Increase the amount of water that you're drinking. Possibly add some supplements. Take at least one health drink a day. Do a few exercises. You ain't got to get out here and run no miles. Do some meditation. Do some reading. Do some private storytelling. Do some personal building. Right? It's based on the 224 self-help process. What does that mean? That means that 2 hours a day you spend, that means every 24 hours, you spend at least 2 hours a day building you. Do you understand me? Because the people that are trying to oppress you spend at least 23 hours a day making sure that you are and stay where you are. Make sure that you're stuck. So we could at least spend 2 hours on improving who we are. And I don't think I'm asking you for a lot. I'm not even asking you for that, because I'm doing it for myself. And like I said, I got a few people doing it. And I want to send some shots out there because I looked on my Patreon page and I got a few people donate. Right? Of course, they know that they got the bottles of that ambrosia coming, right? They got bottles of that ambrosia coming. I'm about to ship this all over the country. Right? And I'm not selling it. This is strictly for family and friends, right? If you support the journey will support you. Boom. Right? Now, so, also, the major piece of the 21-day Nguzo Saba Challenge is changing the days of the week. I believe that once we start conquering our symbols, the symbols that are around us as being used against us, I think that once we start changing those, everything else will line up. Everything will begin to fall in line. So let's do a quote from my man Amos Wilson. I was listening to Amos Wilson this morning, and homeboy said, "You are a child when you fear pain." Where my lightning at? I don't think y'all heard me. You see, many of us don't strive to change. Many of us don't strive to move. Many of us don't strive to upgrade our lives because we fear pain. Many of us sedate ourselves because we fear pain. Many of us don't get up and exercise because we fear pain. Many of us don't drink the water we need to because we fear pain. Many of us don't educate ourselves. Why? Because we fear pain. Many of us don't break off relationships that we are unhappy in because we fear pain. Right? Amos Wilson says, you are a child when you fear pain. And many of us are caught in a child mind state because as adults, we have to be able to be in pain, suffer pain, and move through pain and learn the lessons that's come, because there's very few lessons that you learn, hopefully that you learned in your life, that you could get without some pain. There's some form of payment that need to be made to the universe. And oftentimes in the universe, pain is one of the major currencies. So don't be talking liberation to me if you you scared of pain. Don't talk about starting your business if you fear pain. Can you leave that light on for me, please? Yeah. If you fear pain, there's no way. Sister Gloria, shouts out to you, right? Now, so before we get into this thing, I want to break down we talked about the 224 real quick, the 567. I love these little numbers and symbols and stuff like that. 567, right? 5, 6, 7. I go through this all the time with y'all. 5. You got 5 parts of your being. You got the intuition. That's that pinky. You got the mental. You got that emotional, right? And you got the spiritual. And last but not least, you got the physical. I make it the thumb because the thumb makes the whole hand work, right? Many of us get caught up in these 4, not realizing that by not taking care of this 5th one, this physical, there's no way that the other 4 can really work, because this is the shell in which this is the tool that we have been given to work with. So when we are visibly taking care of the physical tool that we have, when we're cleaning the tool and we're giving the tool what it needs, the tool will work for us. The first thing we have to master, the first thing we have to strive to control is that physical. Because it's running rapid. It's running our community right now. It's ruining it. Because many of us are out of shape. Many of us are not taking care of it. But we want to be spiritual. How the hell can we be spiritual if we're not taking care of the physical vessel through which the spirit manifests itself? How are we going to take care of the ancestors if we can't take care of our physical body? Historically, we have been the healthiest people in history. And now, obesity is running rapid in our community. Autoimmune diseases are tearing us up. And there's nothing but a diet, right? This morning, I heard a proverb from ancient Kemet that says, you exist on 1/3 of the food that you eat. Your doctor lives on the other 2/3. Many of us are eating our way into death. Many of us are eating our way into the grave. And we start with that physical. So that's the 5. The 6 is the 6 emotions. So once we harness this 5, right? When we master our emotions, I love you too, Sister Glory. When we master the emotions, and we're able to ask the proper question and guide the emotions, that means it guides the fist of the 5 parts of ourselves straight into the mouth of our oppressor. Because the emotions provide the energy for that. Last is the 7 principles. The 7 principles are what guides all of this, right? The principles that we apply to our life. I'm talking culture builder, family. Sister Veronica says, peace, big brother. I will call. I have to pick up my son. Keep building. Oh, that's all I know how to do. All right, so that's it for my rant right now. We about to get into these proverbs because I don't want to bore y'all. All right, so here we go. I want to shouts out to Sister Yolanda. I seen her on here as well. Shouts out. All right. So, we are in the secret chapter of the African Opens to the Tree of Life. Last week we did ideas contain project and transmit energy. Conversely, they may stifle energy. Ideas determine attitudes. Ideas determine destiny. Acting as stimuli, ideas may cause mental reactions that can be traced and sensed physiologically. I said it wrong, I'm sorry. Physiologically. Presented under appropriate conditions, ideas can cause one's energy to rise or fall. A simple idea attacking one's self-esteem can make one's energy level fall. It takes an idea as powerful to make it rise again. This is much of the way of ideas. All right. So now let's move on to the one for today. Ideas are constructs and approximations of truth as we think we apprehend it. Ideas are constructs by which we may be prompted to investigate the nature of the real. Ideas are configurations, functions. Ideas are configurations functioning to connect and articulate thoughts or images. Now, let's get into it and let's break that down. All right? So grab your pens because some of y'all, listen, some of y'all got some insight out there that y'all need to be sharing. Whether you call in like Sister Janice, who is patiently waiting for me to stop running my mouth, right? Or you type it in on Facebook. But you have the wisdom that somebody else may have been waiting for their whole life. So please, do not hide your light up under a bush. One more quote from one of my favorite authors. It's a brother by the name of Joseph Campbell. He says, in order for the man or the woman to live, the boy or the girl must die. I'm asking y'all. Right? Because that's a deep ass statement. In order for the man or the woman to live, the boy or the girl must die. Ponder that for a second. I'm gonna throw on some light. Strike of God, you know. Because that's a powerful statement in and of itself. And it's an idea. And what my man here, Erskine Peters, is trying to do, he's trying to get us to get a real perspective of ideas and symbols and how they affect our lives. This is why we got to take control of our stories. This is why we got to take control of the symbols that influence our life. This is why somebody like Brother Hatim took the days of the week and said, fuck Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's a Moja, Kuja, Chakli, Ujimu, Jamania, Kumba, and Mani. I grabbed those for us. Because we will no longer define our days by Nordic gods and Nordic goddesses. We're going to define it by our principles. So every day when I wake up, I'm looking for the principle that I'm on. I'm not looking for the day of the week that they gave me. I'm looking for the day of the week that my ancestors left me. Okay, go ahead, baby. Come on, so they can see you.
Why my daddy so greedy? And why this camera keep going
dark
and light?
Okay, thank you.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I gotta deal with that, you know. And she come on here and she call me names, and I can't slap her right on Facebook, so I ain't gonna do it, you know. So I'm about to pop open the ambrosia. This is that old one, y'all. I ain't washed the bottle yet. I like mine to sit. Now, when y'all get y'all's will be filtered. I don't filter mine. I want every last probiotic that's going to get into my body. Every last healthy probiotic. You know what I'm saying? Because we need them. All right, but now, so I'm going to read it again. I'm going to read the first sentence. I'm going to let Janet go on and I'm going to let the doctor dissect it. So hold on. Class in session. All right, you in the back. Put your hand down. Sit down. All right, here we go. Ideas are constructs and approximations of truth as we think we apprehend it. Did y'all get that? You want to go first on that one? You want me to hit that part first?
Say that again.
It says ideas are constructs and approximations of truth as we think we apprehend it.
Yeah.
Now, so here we go. Check this out, family. What he's breaking down here is that many of us confuse reality and illusion. Like I told y'all last week, or maybe the week before that, one of the last steps that you had to master before you was probably even allowed to enter the temples of Kemet was being able to distinguish the real from the unreal. Now, what he's doing is he's giving you an idea about the real and the unreal, right? He says ideas are constructs and approximations. So a construct is like when you take paper and you make a paper airplane. It's a paper airplane. It's an airplane, but it's paper. It's not a real airplane. It's a construct of an airplane. It's a representation of an airplane. An approximation is like an estimate. So he's saying ideas are constructs and approximations or estimates of reality, of truth as we think we apprehend it. So when we are wrestling with ideas, many of us get caught up and start thinking that the ideas are reality when in fact they are only approximations of reality, right? See, because it's about getting, like for example, ideas try to transmit the essence of an idea. What's the example of the essence of an idea? If I was to ask everybody that's listening to me to close their eyes and to think of a chair, right? We all can close our eyes and think of a chair, right? You know, and if I was to ask everybody to describe their chair, all of us may come up with a different definition. Somebody might have a purple fur. Someone might think of a big chair like I'm sitting on right here, right now. Somebody might be thinking about a dining room table chair. You know what I'm saying? Somebody might even be thinking about a stool, right? But by me saying the idea, right, the essence of the idea is that we all thought about a chair, but all of our approximations of that idea was different. But the illest part about it is that the thoughts that we had about it were not real. Our ancestors was about dealing with the real. We all know people who have ideas and will die to protect their construct of that reality. We see it in the church. We see it in the mosque. We see it in the temples. We see it in the education system. Everybody is...
So to tie...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
To tie this in with the topic you said you wanted... Yes. I just talked to my 12th grade about the importance of being able to discern real news from fake news.
Mm-hmm.
And that it takes more than just being able to talk about it, that you actually need to be able to use your brain to decipher what someone is feeding you and what's really going on.
Mm.
And so the whole notion that idea is an approximation of a truth, I think we all need to understand that truth is relative depending upon the group you're talking, because young people have ideas about what they believe to be truth that we really, as the elders, need to understand. We need to understand it so that we can be more effective at helping them to understand the difference between, no, you're being brainwashed, and here is the truth.
We have to kind of develop situations where they can really experience some of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like some of us get so caught up in the books and get caught up in what's being said that we fail to expose our children to reality. And when we look at it, this is what a lot of our young people are seeking. Like I remember one time somebody said, "Man, you can't describe hip hop unless you are hip hop, unless you are involved with hip hop." You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like the objective subjective thing. Like, you know, as a reporter, I got to be objective. But to really understand something, you got to immerse yourself in it so that you can get a true understanding of it. You know what I'm saying? And ideas are, in a sense, us being objective in a lot of cases. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So we really don't get to, as a matter of fact, in the education system, they teach teachers to be objective with our children, which is why a lot of people can't reach the children, because they're looking at them as objects. They're looking at them as something outside themselves rather than immersing themselves and, like you're saying, getting to know what makes these kids tick. You know what I'm saying? We call it professionalism. I'm a professional, right? So you can't really get into the workings of a child's life because you're looking at it from the outside in. You're not really experiencing, so you got an approximation of where that child is. And all of us know we done all made approximations and been way off, right? Some of us in Dayton, we made approximations about some of the people we chose to be with. And we was way off. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it is what it is. So the next sentence says, ideas are constructs by which we may be prompted to investigate the nature of the real. Ideas are constructs by which we may be prompted to investigate the nature of the real. Right? This goes back to, at least I believe, this goes back to our ancient way of teaching, where the master would never answer a question. Nowadays, they would call that him being foolish. So when a child would ask a question, or initiate or apprentice would ask a question, the master wouldn't answer the question. The master would ask another question to prompt the student to think about what they're asking a little bit deeper. It would get them to want to explore reality. In African Openness Tree of Life, they described it as providing young people and providing older people with a lure to mastery. We kind of weaken our kids when we give them the answers to everything. We kind of weaken our kids when we try to stop them from experiencing some things because we deem it not safe. Like, for example, when you watch some of the kids nowadays riding bikes with helmets and shit, you kind of amazed because you be like, damn, how did I survive? You know what I'm saying? I mean, really. I mean, many of us ran out, jumped on the bike, fell down, busted our head, got back up, got back on the bike, and learned how to ride. We skinned up our knees. We didn't have all these pads. You know what I'm saying? Some of us grew up playing real dodgeball. I'm in school. These kids actually think they playing dodgeball. I have seen people get knocked out playing dodgeball. Approximation of truth, real truth. Real truth will knock you on your ass. Real truth comes sometime with pain. I'm gonna even say all the time. I'm not in love with pain, but the fact of the matter is that a lot of the lessons that we need to learn, we don't get until we actually experience it. Many of us got to bump our heads before we're able to move to the next level. Oh, by the way, Miss Janice, I really missed you, man. I have missed you. Is everything going good?
Yeah. Oh, but we'll talk later. I've been right there with you.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Unless you got something you want to add to that. And for those that are new, this is different. Usually we do Proverbs, but this book is so deep and so sacred to me. I felt that I had to go into the hidden chapter, and he's trying to explain why he composed this book of Proverbs and quotes, right? And he's giving you the mechanisms so that you can recognize and use these truths in your life. Not just be able to recite them, but go out and experience them and learn them so that you can be a master and share the wisdom. Stop being scared. So, ideas are configurations. Hold on. Ideas are configurations functioning to connect and articulate thoughts or images. Ideas are configurations functioning to connect and articulate thoughts and ideas. Ideas connect themselves to other ideas and they build upon themselves, like dissertations, like books, like stories. They present ideas that build on other ideas. But the one piece we always got to avoid is the trap. And we get trapped in thinking that the ideas are the reality. When in fact, we get the idea and now we got to explore the reality. Now we can learn from other people's experience. Don't get me wrong on that piece. But in some cases we got to get out and we got to try and venture out so that we can learn. Like people could have told me about the Sweat Lodge. I read about the Sweat Lodge over and over again for years before I actually did one. But once I got into the Sweat Lodge, all that book shit fell to the side. Because when that oppressive ass heat, when you get into that dark room, and you in the room, and you might not know everybody in that room, and they close that door, and the air get thin, and them rocks is hot, and then they bring that water and they pour it on the rocks, and the rocks, and the steam goes up, and it comes down, and it falls on you. All the shit that you read in the books about how deep of a spiritual relationship you was going to develop with the higher beings and the ancestors talking to you, and all the shit that you read, all that shit run right out the door. And you have to be prepared to face the reality. Be prepared to go through the pain so that you could describe it to somebody in live and living color rather than just with ideas. This is fact. This is my experience. And what comes from experience? Wisdom. So that's that one. So we got time to move into another one. Mr. Erskine Peters, damn, ancestor, you was digging deep on me, and there's a whole bunch of these. Ideas and symbols can focus and compel the working of the intellect. Being engaged with them may make one feel the distinction of the species, as well as feel the species' affinity to the divine. I want y'all to check this one out. I want y'all to really think about this one. I mean, think about the last ones and think about the other shit I said too. But I always said it. I want y'all to think about this one. Ideas and symbols. Now we get into symbols. We back into symbols again too. Can focus and compel the working of the intellect. Ideas and symbols can focus and compel the working of the intellect. Brother Hatim, what's wrong with you, dog? You sitting up here taking the days of the week and you putting the words on them like a moja. Moja is an idea. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to get you focused. I'm trying to compel you to start working your intellect. We have to take that, this first sentence. Ideas and symbols can focus and compel the working of the intellect. We got to take this and get this into the education system. Ideas and symbols. Like, for example, you look at whether we talk about dope boys or we talking about individuals that's in street organizations, also known as gangs, all of them have a very complicated system of ideas and symbols. And the ideas and symbols compel them. What was the idea? Get money. That's an idea. It's not the reality. It's the idea that compelled them to move. And it compelled some of them to move to mastery in their shit. If you really talk to a real gangbanger, if you really talk to one and you sit down to one that's a little bit deeper than just I'm rolling and I'm shooting, and you start talking to him about the symbols of the organization. You start talking to him about the colors and why the color is there and why they chose this star over that star. And you start talking to them about how the beef started. They get deep. That idea moved these individuals to become soldiers for something that they never even had anything to do with. Do you realize that the ideas that's backing the Crips and the Bloods, I want y'all to think about this, and the folks and the vice lords have spread all over the country. So the beef, the idea of the beef in California in the late 60s have spread to where you could go to another city and you got young people who have been compelled by this idea to pick up this color and to carry on the battle. Do you understand that? Ideas can compel and get an individual. Ideas and symbols can compel and get somebody focused. This is why the most sacred writing that we had was symbols. We put the symbols. Because the symbols speak 1,000 words. In the symbol, you can put 1,000 different ideas in the symbol. And the symbol compelled the initiates to study. Now I got a question. What are the ideas and the symbols we're using in the education system to compel our children to move towards excellence? What are our ideas and the symbols that you have in your life to compel you to move towards excellence? To move towards something divine? To change your life? To change the legacy that you're leaving your children? Right? So this is why I'm talking about a 21-day challenge. This is why I'm talking about an Nguzo Saba challenge. This is why I'm talking about putting up symbols around your house. This is why I'm saying set up rituals and stuff like this, because these are moving symbols that will encourage you and remind you of your greatness. People used to ask me, Brother Hatim, why you grow your locks? Because every time I got up in the mirror, I was reminded about what the fuck I was supposed to be doing. I could wake up grumpy, I could wake up mad, I would have my locks. Brother Hatim, why you got all them tattoos on your body? Because the tattoos remind me of what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing. On my left arm, I got a circle, and I got Simba over it, and I got Nation Builder and up under it. I got a lion on my heart, roaring, right? I got Gye-Nyame house on my belly, and I got the symbol of Gye-Nyame on my belly because that symbol compels me to move in a certain direction. And once I put it on my skin, I couldn't cut it off like like I cut off my hair. It's there forever. Family, what ideas and symbols you have that can focus and compel you? And I'm going to go even deeper. If you don't have ideas and symbols that you can sit up here and we could talk about now, your enemy has set some ideas and some symbols up to compel you to move in a direction to benefit them. I mean, it's simple stuff, man. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Ideas are like water. They move, they're fluid, they are relative to your geographic location, the demographics you're working with. And I just think that those among us who are thinkers are the very people who are open to ideas, and we should remain open to ideas as long as there are humans. Because as long as somebody has a brain, something new can be conceptualized. And since ideas are based in truth, wrong or right, it is from ideas that all of our answers come from.
Okay.
The teacher has spoken, y'all. Y'all listening. Ideas are like fluid, right?
They're like water.
Like water.
They remain fluid because they're constantly changing. Constantly adapting. Now, you must have... Depending on, for example, when you talk about nation building, depending upon what the problem is you diagnosed, what solution you decided you want to take, all of those ideas that are responses to questions like that are very dependent upon what's best for the people exploring that idea. The notion of, for example, nonviolent response to racial segregation was an idea that came from a specific group of people who had specific ideas about how to perpetuate that idea.
Right.
But you also had a group of youngsters, many of whom were college educated beyond a bachelor's. They had graduate degrees, law degrees, and PhDs who made another determination relative to the same idea. And so they're fluid. Water never stops. It's all over the place. It seeps in the cracks. It stays at the borders until it's ready to go beyond those borders. Water is fluid, like human thought.
So a good symbol for human thought is water, right? You know what I'm saying? And and it's like we have to start working it because, like you brought up the whole nation building piece. I had to retire from being a nation builder. I told people the other day, I said I'm no longer a nation builder. You know, I had to change my identity. Why? Because I looked at the idea of nation building, and I'm like, boom, it's a grand idea. It's a noble thing. But I'm saying I had to ask myself the honest question: how do I build a nation with a group of people that don't have a culture? Because I honestly believe, at least the ideas that have been revealed to me so far, like you said, is fluid. So I had to change my terminology. I'm a culture builder. I'm looking at resurrecting the culture. So because it's the culture that lay the foundation that nations come out of. Like, for example, we're looking at the elections in Germany. I mean, because this is the idea that's flowing around the world right now, nationalism. Everywhere you look, everybody is about their group. Except for us, you know. We the only universal people. You know what I'm saying? We can fit in with everybody. Right? But everywhere around the world right now, the whole argument is about nationalism. You look at the French election, nationalism, or the global community. You look at Germany, same thing. right? All throughout Europe is rushing through. Everybody's talking about nationalism, right? And I'm like, boom. The only way they're able to talk about nationalism, and this is what really struck me this week. In Germany, I can't remember whether it was some minister. He basically told people that if you come to Germany is not a burqa or something like that. His term was something like that. Somebody that's out there that might be listening PR, he said Germany is not a burqa. If you're going to come to Germany, you need to learn German culture. Which is not unfair. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of us might, that's unfair. But the fact of the matter is, the way a people prosper, the way a people grow, is by, in a sense, isolating themselves enough so that they could develop, so that they can add to the global community. You understand? As black people, we have given, but I can only imagine how much more we will be able to get a world community if we took time to invest inward. You know, I mean, it's sort of like we're robbing the world by us trying to be of the world and trying to be an international and a global people, rather than saying, hey, we're black folks, let us get together and start developing and start building some stuff for ourselves and for our future. And by us coming together and doing that, I think that we would improve all the societies around us. You know, but that's just, you know, that's an idea. And like you said, it's like water. I'll probably have a different one next week. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? So let me finish this one, and then I'm going to, because I know you got to get up. Because your school you're not over yet, right?
No, of course not. Absolutely. These kids go to school forever.
Oh, okay. I thought I was the only one. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Really, I did. I thought I was the only one. Ideas and symbols can focus and compel working of the intellect. Being engaged with them may make one feel the distinction of the species, as well as feel the species' affinity to the divine. Right? So once we lay down the ideas and the symbols work as signposts that move us toward the divine, towards who we really are. But we haven't taken time with our ideas and symbols. Right? Being engaged with them may make one feel the distinction of the species. We the first one to say, oh, we all alike. We all alike. As African people and as Africans in America that have been brought up through this hell, or as Elijah Muhammad say, through the wilds of North America, we have a distinction that has been given to us. And that distinction is what will make not only us grow, but everyone else. But we got to recognize that. We got to recognize that. And we can't be ashamed of it. Right? Because really, what's crazy is, what's the syndrome called when a hostage is taken and the hostage start associating with the hostage taker? You know, huh?
Munchausen.
What is it called?
Munchausen.
Munchausen syndrome. We have that. And we have totally given up any distinction because we want to fit in. We want to belong. We've been held hostage so long that we have taken on the personality of the captor. So this means that we have to eliminate our distinction when in fact the very thing that makes America great is the individual group's distinctions. This is what makes America different than any other country. This is why innovation comes out of America. This is why people come to America to go to school. Why? Because they get to run up against other distinctive people. America is really the only place where you could come and you have all these different groups in the way that we got it. Everybody else is trying to simulate what America got.
Right.
I mean, I don't even know if we recognize that. It's what makes America unique is that America is a stolen land that everybody been over here taking advantage of. We're the stolen people that everybody over here taking advantage of. So you could come from anywhere. And we got pockets of people from everywhere, all throughout this country. And this is why innovation flourishes here, because we got different ideas clashing. I take a little bit of this, I take a little bit of that, I take a little bit of that, I take a little bit of that, and I got a global phenomenon called hip-hop. I take a little bit of this, I take a little bit of that, take a little bit of that, take a little bit of this, a little bit of this experience, and I got jazz. Right? But it's the distinctions of all the people that make innovations like this possible, because ideas have to, in a sense, clash. And in that clashing, a new birth, in a sense, for new ideas to rise, old ideas have to die.
Right.
Just like for the man to live or the woman to live, the boy and the girl must die. Last but not least, here we go. And this is the key for the night, y'all. Being engaged with them may make one feel the distinction of the species. Now listen, as well as feel the species' affinity to the divine. Ideas and symbols ultimately link us to and show our similarities and show our relationship with the divine. What does that mean? Right? That means that the legacy that we uphold is not just one on the material level, it's one on a higher level. It's like many of us get stuck in our quest for greatness because we're trying to be great for ourselves. True inspiration, true motivation stops when if it's about me and it's about my ego, when I get things. But when it's beyond the things, like Booker T. Washington, although a lot of people may disagree with him or disagree with his ideas, what he was building was not for him. It was for something bigger. It was to show his affinity to the divine. And he was able to create something called Tuskegee that was a model for other things to be created all over the country. George Washington Carver was creating something bigger than himself. He was showing his affinity to the divine by creating these ideas. We go to the scientists, we go to the musicians, we go to the leaders that we have had. All of them have worked towards something bigger than them. Family. And that's the key to greatness for us. That's as an individual and as a group. Who and what are you working for? What are you working towards? Is it for your satisfaction, so that you can have the rims, so that you can have the watch, so that you can have the best ties, so that you can have the gold around your neck, so that you can have a big bank account? Or are you working for your legacy? Are you working for the generations that's coming after you? Are you working to build something so that your people can maintain, and because your people represent something bigger than just you? Something divine. You're moving towards something divine, something beyond yourself. You got anything you want to say to close it out, sis?
No, you good. That's excellent.
I have something to say.
Okay, Sasha, once again, who's supposed to be in bed. Come on. Sasha want to close us out, y'all. Say hi.
If you know what happened to this camera.
You better not wait time out. You better not tell none of my personal family business. But go ahead.
If you know what happened to this camera, tell me in the comments.
Okay. we had what she talking about is the camera sometimes go fade. So she's saying that if anybody out there knows what's going on with the camera, please let us know in the comments. That was good, baby. That was good.
Yes.
I think you got a knack for this.
Excellent.
So we're going to close out on that note. That was Miss Sasha Marsh. I'm Brother Hatim. I was joined by Sister Janice. I want to send shouts out to Miss Kim Carswell, Miss Yolanda K. Jones. What's up, Heru? Miss Veronica Baynu, Miss Gloria Long, and Miss Aisha Essex, and of course, Miss Janice Rowlett. Sitting up there in that picture with her pops. Go ahead, girl. All right.
Talk to you later.
All right, peace. Oh, yeah, y'all take that Nguzo Saba challenge. All right. Hit me up. Peace.
Mr. Diddy.